warm welcome back on the AM show. And of course, you know it's brought to you every weekday morning by Elegant Homes. Elegant Homes and General Construction Limited is a wholly owned Ghanaian company with over 15 years experience. Our affiliate company, Elegant Homes Products Limited, fabricates and sells high-quality UPVC windows and door profiles from Turkey, plasterboards, cornices, gypsum adhesives, and accessories. We have luxury residential properties in prime areas, for example, East Legon. We also construct properties in other parts of Ghana. Elegant Homes is now selling 3, 4, 5-bedroom executive detached houses at its gated community, Elegant Courts in Katamanso off the Adenta Dodua Road, right here in Accra. The project has solar street lights, underground sewer systems, 24/7 security, tarred roads, constant flow of water, estate management services, and a recreational area with a tennis court, playground, swimming pool, and many shops. Clients have the option of choosing from a wide range of architectural designs and have it modified for them. You can request tailor-made services where we build to suit individual taste. Our houses are built to the highest standards, and we ensure that the finest of materials are used to give you excellence, luxury, beauty, and value for your money. That's very important. Our properties can be located in East Legon and Elegant Courts at Katamanso. Just call us 0244 699 053, 0244 699 053, or 0248 974 428. The other number you can call is 0576 597 419, 0576 597 419. So Elegant Homes, just give them a call, yeah? Now, coming up, of course, we have the One Ghana movement. We'll be getting into that in the course of the show. Well, Ghana's current democratic dispensation is founded on the 1992 Constitution, a document that sets out our collective and individual rights and aspirations toward development. Like every good project, a candid review is required, lessons learned, and progress made. One Ghana movement, in partnership with the UPSA law, powered by Joy FM and JoyNews, present the first annual Constitutional Day lecture. The lecture will be delivered by legal practitioner and Dean of the University for Professional Studies, Accra Law School, Ernest Kofi Bochi. And the topic is realizing the 1992 Constitution beyond elections, public goods, and inclusive governance. The date is today, the 11th of January, Monday, and the time is 9:30 a.m. prompt. They'll be starting on time. The venue is the west wing of the auditorium, that is UPSA Legon, and the lecture will be broadcast live right here on Joy 99.7 FM and Joy News and on social media. Join in and let's chart the way forward for our development as intended by the framers of the 1992 Constitution. So it's all about the first annual, discourse that is going to happen today. So on the bit about the reopening of schools, which is the conversation we're about to dig into now, freshers and public universities have started a new academic year. We're going to be bringing you live reports from the University of Ghana, the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, the University of Cape Coast, the Takrady Technical University, among other institutions of higher learning, other universities in Ghana. We're going to, confer with students, student leaders, and university management to find out about what they think the state of preparedness and what the way forward is. We're going to be digging into all of that. And our guests, Isaac J. Hyde. He is NUC's president. Isaac J. Hyde is NUC's president. There's also Peter Anti, executive director for IFEST. And both of them join the conversation right now via Zoom. Mr. Hyde, Mr. Anti, a very good morning to you. Thank you for joining us on Joy News.
Good morning, sir.
Great. So from the perspective of graduate students, let's start the conversation from there, Isaac Hyde. I would like to find out what your initial, thoughts are about, first of all, the reopening of schools at this point in time and the state of preparedness from the general standpoint, from the teaching standpoint, teaching and learning standpoint. What do you make of this? Reopening schools at this point in time and the state of preparedness. What is your take, Mr.
Right.
Hyde?
Thank you very much. I believe that, reopening school is something of a necessity. We've been in the house for over 10 months, almost 10 months, and people were just very tired of sitting in their homes. And of course, the means of of assessments in terms of lectures, the e-learning platform was not very much effective. And so, the concerns have been that if schools are going to be reopened, then it has become a matter of necessity. The alternative has not been implemented in the best way across most of the campuses. In terms of preparation, I have been across the country observing what was going on. In fact, I was at KUST over the weekend when the fire incidents happened. The level 100s are coming in. So far, we've seen that the protocols for observing the COVID-19 put in place for the purpose of the COVID-19 has been in place. We're only hoping that, some of these materials will not just be there as white elephants. I think there's also a perception that everybody or most students are aware of the protocols and so just put the materials there and they'll be using it. But I realize that some also don't just care, or let's say, are not very much aware. So we need to intensify the need for the campaign for people to really understand. And then largely in terms of preparation, the academic calendars have been made available to students. There has been extensive engagement with student bodies. If you go to the University of Ghana, for instance, the student leadership have had constant engagement with management. I believe that to a larger extent, there's some sense of preparation. There are just a few things that we need to look at. For instance, now it has become part and parcel of the learning process that about 30% of the classroom session will not be face-to-face. A large chunk of our engagement periods have been moved online. And if you reduce the cost of data or provide internet services, we need to also look at how people can connect to the platform so that the means of connecting, if people don't have the necessary gadgets and lecturers have not been prepared or trained into, teaching via the virtual platforms, it's still a problem. And so, yes, some steps have been made, but there's still a long way to go. But I believe that from the general student perspective, we are very much prepared for this.
Okay, so I'd also like to touch on that bit that you sort of ended with, the teaching, the form of teaching. And per what we know, at least with the University of Ghana and some of these other institutions, learning mainly and even examinations are going to be via, the computer, the platforms that are available, the Sakai's and the others that have been used in the past. Do you feel that it is going to impact learning outcomes in any way?
It is. I'm not so sure about the level 100s because for most of them, this is the first time that they are going to use it. But for the 400s and the people who have been in school already, for most parts of their years in school, it has been the face-to-face means of teaching. And so this, despite having had some brief experiences, it's more or less a new thing. And psychologically, they will have to adapt over time. But notwithstanding, some tutorials have gone on. Orientation has also been given to some of these students. For the students of University of Ghana, Sakai is almost part of their lives all the time. But like I said, one of the biggest challenges that we've seen over the period is the fact that most teachers, when they are on the online platform or the e-learning platforms, engage their students thinking that they are in a physical environment. Meanwhile, a virtual platform has a different means of teaching. And so we are hoping to see once we reopen that, something has changed in terms of the mode of teaching. It is only when we experience the new, programs that we put online and how the mode of teaching that we can really assess and tell if the training and sometimes the communication we're giving to them has really been heeded to.
Right. I know at least with some of these lecturers, some trainings are ongoing because at the tail end of last year when they were called upon, abruptly to deliver some of such trainings, a lot of them were found wanting. I don't want to specify which institution, but I know trainings are ongoing. But let's go to the University of Ghana now. Mr. Anti, with your indulgence. I'll be right back to you. But let's cross over to the University of Ghana, where Kweku Asante joins us. He'll be reporting, from there to tell us what exactly the scenes are, what is going down there. So, Kweku Asante, if you can hear me.
Here at the University of Ghana, today students of the university are reporting to campus where they are expecting to be filed into campus and to start their academic journey. And so I will speak to some of them. There have been a couple of challenges that have come up, particularly with allocation of beds and all. And so some of them have been here this morning. If you look up behind me, there's a long queue of students who are preparing to, as it were, undertake their registration. But there are also a number of them who do not have beds at all, and so they are expecting that some solutions to be found to them. Let me speak to some students here who have had some challenges regarding their accommodation challenge, and let me see what's going on. So this is Jennifer. She applied to Legon Hall and she had a hall, but then what happened later on was that she was told that she could not pay her fees and other things, or she had actually paid her fees, but she could not proceed with the registration because there were some mistakes in terms of uploading the beds online. So, Jennifer, what exactly was the challenge?
Yeah, I selected a hall, paid for it, and then they later sent me a message that the bed wasn't supposed to be selected. So it's very stressful. These are the challenges we are facing.
Right. So since you've been here, what exactly have they been telling you in terms of how they are going to fix your problem for you?
They're just telling us to go back home and then we are going to receive messages. I came here earlier and then that was what they told me. So I'm here today to rectify the problem.
Right. So had you paid your fees already, or you were not able to pay the fees before this problem came up?
I'm done paying the fees, everything, but
now you don't have the bed.
I don't have the bed.
Okay. So this is Jennifer. She had actually paid her fees for a bed in Legon Hall. She had a room L6, but now she can't have access to that room because, according to management of the hall, those challenges that came up with the uploading of the courses or the beds online could not make her do that. Let me head into the queue and speak to some people who are actually successful in terms of applying and being able to register, and get a few thoughts from them in terms of how they are feeling to be coming to the University of Ghana. Let me speak to this gentleman. Gentleman, you are live on JoyNews. Please, what's your name?
I'm Bright Wachi Ado.
Bright Wachi?
Ado.
Okay, Bright, so you are a freshman, you are coming to University of Ghana. How excited are you to be coming to the so-called Premier University?
Oh, I don't actually see anything different from me being in University of Ghana, because my sisters completed KNUST, so I've been on campus several times, so it's the same environment. And yeah.
Right. So it doesn't seem to me like you had any challenges in terms of applying for a hall. Some students have been complaining that they got a bed and the beds were not available again. How were you able to go through the system?
God being so good, I was very lucky to get a hall and also a room and a bed for myself. So I didn't actually face any challenges or anything. Yeah.
Right. So let me speak to other people. Hello, gentlemen. Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Bismarck. This is JoyNews.
I'm Friday.
Okay. So how excited are you to be coming here to the University of Ghana?
I'm really happy because this is my dream school.
It's always been your dream to be here. What course are you coming to do?
I'm coming to offer Earth Science.
Earth Science.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Right. So let me go to others. So these people in this queue are those who are able to successfully apply for a hall, and they do not have much challenges. They are just trying to file through and go into the hall and undertake their residential registration, the manual residential registration, after doing what they had to do online. And so they don't have any challenges as compared to some of the people I spoke to earlier who had some challenges with their academic registration. Let me speak to this lady here. Hello. Please, what's your name? You're live on JoyNews.
I'm Frederica.
Frederica.
Yes.
So, Frederica, how excited are you to be here at the University of Ghana?
Oh, I'm very happy. At least I didn't want to go anywhere far, so I'm happy I got this place.
Why, you live around?
I live at Mamprobi.
Mamprobi. Okay. So, which SHS are you coming from?
Wesley Girls.
Wesley Girls. Okay. Right. So, did you have any challenges when you were applying for your bed? Your residential application?
No, please.
You didn't? Right. So This lady here is from Wesley Girls. I mean, she's starting her tertiary education journey here at the University of Ghana, Legon Hall, to be precise. And a number of them, level 100 students, have already started reporting here. If you go to Ikwafu Hall, if you go to several other halls, there are a number of people who are already here. But let me go to this side where I can see some people. Today in Legon Hall, one important thing will be happening here because there will be balloting of beds for continuing students, people who have applied to be in the hall because of the limited number of beds available in the hall. And so let me speak to some of them. I'm expecting that I'll get some of these people in terms of the challenges. But let me go to the parents and also speak to them about how excited they are about bringing their children here. Mommy, Pacho, good morning.
Morning, Mr.
Pacho, your friend Bismarck, you are live on JoyNews.
Pacho,
what do you...
A friend, me bad by a friend Faustina Quachi. Me Pacho, me banu nyaho, unyai. And so within a short time, you go fat good chef feast near any hobby, and to say a peho mano, and in your wire.
Right, see, as a man, management, I catch them say the problem in about.
Okay, problem about and say, Horny and say your leg on hall. And so within a short time, nothing, whom you went into me and could say, Abba, I say a peho man, until a higher train almost somebody, the airline train.
So this queue, or this number of people here to my right, are the people who had challenges with registering or paying their fees and all those things for the beds they applied for here at Legon Hall. What happened was a number of beds were uploaded mistakenly or with a technical challenge here at Legon Hall, and so they've been unable to pay their fees. Some of them have actually been able to pay their fees, but in terms of being able to access those beds, most of them will not be able to do so, and management has been promising them that they'll find a way and fix this challenge for them. And so there are a number of people who are here with the same challenge. Let me try and speak to others and also see what their problems and other thoughts have been. Hello, madam. Please, what's your name?
I'm Etonam.
Etonam. Etonam, so what are you coming to ballot for a bed, or so you are
for the ballot?
Students?
Yeah, level 400.
Level 400.
Yes.
Okay. Etonam, so I mean, we all know about this perennial accommodation challenge on campus. We don't even know the number of beds available that all Legon Hall prospective residents are coming to apply for. How excited are you? How sure are you that you will get a bed?
I'm hopeful. Yes, I'm just hopeful that I'll get a bed.
Right. Did you speak to King Agokoli this morning so that maybe they would all do something for you?
No, I prayed.
You prayed?
Yes.
Right. Please, what's your name?
Gifty.
Gifty. Are you coming to do the same thing?
Yes, please.
Right. So, did you apply to only Legon Hall, or you tried your luck with other halls?
No, I tried with the other traditional halls.
So it means that prior to today, you've always been a non-resident.
Yes.
You've always been a non-resident.
Yes.
You want to come into campus. Okay, I wish Etonam and Gifty, right? I wish you all the best as you apply to come to Legon Hall. Legon Hall is actually the premier hall. It's actually the first hall that was constructed here at the University of Ghana over 50 years ago. Let me speak to some other students who have also converged here and also take their thoughts on what exactly they are coming to do here. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Please, what's your name?
Victoria.
Victoria. So, what is your mission here this morning?
Yeah, we are here to do the manual registration.
Are you a continuing student or a fresh student?
First student. Yes.
So which senior high school are you coming from?
St. Joseph.
St. Joseph. Right. Okay. So I wish you all the best as you start your academic journey. Right. So a number of people here, I've spoken to some of them. The challenges are a bit diverse. There are those who could not get a bed at all, and so they are expecting that management will do something for them this morning. There are those who are able to apply but have some challenges because their beds all of a sudden were not available online, and according to management of the university, they should not have been able to apply for those beds, and so there were some technical challenges with that, and they would fix it. So I have here some students leaders who have been trying to find some answers to some of this. We are expecting that we will speak to Professor Wiafia Kentin. He is the head of halls here at the University of Ghana. He's also the hall master here at the Legon Hall. I will take some answers in terms of why all these are happening and what exactly the answers are for these students who are finding something. So let me go back to where I started from, where some Legon University of Ghana students have already gathered to try and find some answers to this. So let's take a walk to that place. But we are expecting that by close of day or by close of this week, a few challenges that have come up so far would have been fixed. So I have some student leaders of the University of Ghana that I'm going to take their thoughts from and also find the ways in which they are trying to fix it. I know most of them by just their first names, so I'll let them tell us what their full names are, what their roles here at the University of Ghana, at the SRC or the JCRS, and then we'll take what they are all doing to do that. So, what's your full name?
My name is Mohammed Abdul Salam.
Mohammed Abdul Salam.
Yes, I am the Academic Affairs Chairman of the UGS Housing.
Right.
Yeah, my name is Ebenezer Jan. I'm the Intelligence and Student Affairs Chairman.
Right. My name is Akin Sopuku and I'm the SRC PRO.
Yeah.
Emmanuel Soalai, I'm President of the Finance Department.
Right. So these students, leaders, are all here at Legon Hall this morning, and Legon Hall has become sort of a hotbed, a hotspot for all that is happening on campus. So far, we've not had much of a challenge with other particular halls in terms of whatever they are doing. But at Legon Hall, some 2 rooms, L6 and G26, were either mistakenly uploaded online or there were some challenges with them. And so students who applied to those particular rooms obviously are not going to get into. So let me start with the Intelligence Affairs Committee. Were you able to pick any intelligence that some of these things are going to happen?
Yes, I think right from the beginning when they introduced these particular policies, the entire student populace had so many challenges with regards to, accommodation and then how we can contain the the COVID-19. So in our argument as an SRC, we then had to, narrow down our argument to some specific reasons. And then the reason number 1 is the 6 weeks, challenge that we had that will not be able to complete the entire semester. Already, students had challenges even with the normal 13 weeks on campus. So if you are telling us that we are going to spend only 6 weeks on campus, we'll not be able to finish some courses. So students had so many challenges, but we were able to narrow down this particular challenge to the 6 weeks. And then when we met management, additional 3 weeks has also been added. So instead of the normal 9 weeks that ordinarily we should have spent on campus, we've had now 12 weeks to spend on campus. Absolutely.
Right. So let me go to Abdul. And Abdul, you are the Academic Affairs Committee head, and academics is not a standalone thing. It works with other variables. Accommodation is part. People have to be able to get somewhere and say that this is where I'm laying my head, so that they are distressed and be able to focus on the academics. How do you think people are going to manage? Because a lot of freshmen are coming in, they don't have beds, they applied, they couldn't get, or they applied, they went to pay their fees, and later on they were told that there were some challenges, and so they cannot come here. How is the SRC trying to deal with all these?
Well, honestly speaking, matters of accommodation has always been a problem on campus. But this year is a special year because of the introduction of the double track system. And as a matter of fact, like you mentioned, you need to sleep very well, have a place to be able to learn very well. And academics goes hand in hand with comfort. If you're not comfortable, you're probably not going to study well. So as an SRC, I think a board was constituted to look into alternative means of securing accommodation for people. I think the board is here to come out with their findings. So when that is done, I think we'll be able to come out with clear-cut solutions for this accommodation problem. But nonetheless, I think if you are a fresher and you are on campus and probably you have not gotten into any of the halls, I think there are private hostels around. There's Hachu, there's Okunglu. If you are able to secure an accommodation around these places, I think it will be better for you, because coming to campus back and forth will probably cost you money. And also, the university has resorted to the online system. So I think it will be of help if we also take these innovative ways of learning. It will also help us in our studies. And I think they should take the online system very serious.
Right. So, personally, when I came to the University of Ghana some few years back, I was coming from Koforidua. And so imagine I'm from Koforidua and then I don't get a bed. Am I going to commute from Koforidua to Accra daily to be able to undertake my academic activities, or what do I do? Let me speak to the public relations officer. They're doing a double track sort of, right? And even with double track, look at the kind of challenges that have come up. Are you one of those who are of the school of thought that the university's double track plan is not because of COVID, but because of accommodation?
Well, I wouldn't say that. Because when the university actually introduced the modular system, there were a few reasons why they introduced the modular system. And one of those reasons were the accommodation was issues, and other reasons. For example, I mean, the online system where you remember that before COVID, okay, when COVID came and then school actually broke, okay, we introduced an online system. Are you getting me? And after the online system, I think that most students generally, okay, were satisfied with the online system. And so basically, the reason why the university proposed this modular system in this double track is that let us allow our students to come on campus so that they have access to our ICT facilities, so that at least, okay, those that were complaining that we didn't have network, we didn't have, ICT facilities, they could actually have access to them now. And so I wouldn't subscribe to that assertion that the only reason for the modular system was to solve accommodation issue. That I wouldn't subscribe to that.
Right. So let me go to finance department here at the university, their leader. What are also your takeaways from all the challenges that people are facing in terms of being able to register for their courses, for their halls? People don't have it at all. Those who are able to register, they've been having some challenges.
I think the challenges are very, very, very normal. And then it would have been very, very bad if the 4 levels were coming to campus. So finally there's an improvement in the numbers, even though the stress is very, very cool comparing to the previous times. So it's something that you are supposed to adapt and then make the best out of it.
Right, so comparatively better from previous years. There's always been this floated idea of an SRC hostel. You are the new administration that is in office. I think a few years back, the SRC said they had advanced processes to be able to undertake a hostel. You've been attending GA, you're attending cabinet meetings and all. Does the current SRC has any game plan in terms of how to help the university deal with this accommodation problem by bringing on stream the much talked about SRC hostel project, which has been in the pipeline since 2003?
As it stands now, the University of Ghana has an accommodation deficit. Accommodation deficit of almost 60%. So taking this particular case into consideration, I think we've had several consultations with management with regards to how we can mitigate this particular challenge. This challenge has been ravaging the university populace for a very long time. But then looking at the exigency of the moment, it would be of essence that we roll out this particular policy. Well, one can raise an argument that looking at how the modular system is structured, it gives, this kind of idea that management is now coming up with a plan to, fully resolve the accommodation challenges that we are facing in the University of Ghana. But I beg to differ in so many sense. In a sense that given the challenges that we are facing, the university has, a well-structured kind of development plan. So we cannot say that because we have so many land available, then we can just go ahead and then construct any hostel around. But then definitely we are working on something. As you rightly put it, the SRC hostel, we are working on it. The last time we had a meeting with management on this particular model, and I think we have something in the pipeline. Very soon something will come out.
All right, so I've been taking the thoughts of some student leaders here at the University of Ghana. The university is beginning its first semester, its first module actually, for this academic year. And what the University of Ghana is doing, which is markedly different from what a lot of other public universities are doing, is that they've divided the population of the school into two. Level 100s and level 400s are coming at this point. Level 100s are starting to come today. Level 400s are expected on campus by Thursday up until Sunday. Then Monday, rigorous academic work will continue. And then in April, level 200s and level 300s will also come. We've been trying to get the thoughts of students who are coming in, those who've had some challenges and those who don't have any challenge at all, as well as the student leaders who are just behind me. We've had those interaction with them. We're expecting that we'll get some thoughts from Professor Wiafi Akinson. He's the head of halls here at the University of Ghana, and he's also the Ligon Hall master, where some challenges have come up. And so, Benjamin, this is what is happening here at the Premier University. We'll try and take those thoughts and then we'll come back to you.
Thank you very much, Kwekwa Asante, my colleague there reporting live from the University of Ghana. It actually brings back Memories of when I was also getting registered, around the Great Hall back then. Interesting to have parents assisting their children and all of that. Those days it was buga buga. You go and do everything on your own. And it was interesting. You grew out of it. Anyway, so we continue the conversation here with regard to students hitting our institutions of higher learning, returning to school or making their first entry, in fact, the freshmen and women. But we continue the conversation with Isaac Hyde, NUG's president, and of course Peter Anti, executive director, IFES. Let me come to Mr. Anti. Now, double track, yes, like was indicated, we have the 100s and 400s now. Later on, the 200s and 300s will be joining in. But I want to find out from you on that very subject that has become prominent, accommodation issues. We're dealing with COVID-19. How acute is this issue? Is it a problem in our, institutions of higher learning? And what from the policy angle, because IFEST is a policy and research institution, what from the policy angle have you unearthed that you can share on the accommodation structures? What should we be taking note of as our students go back to school?
Thank you very much. I think that we are playing the ostrich when we come every year to talk about accommodation at tertiary institutions, because we know that every year a lot of students who apply are not able to access tertiary education simply because of the accommodation issue. The capacity of our tertiary institutions, basically the public tertiary institutions, are not able to admit the number of students that apply every year. And even those that are they are able to admit, we are all witnessing the challenges that they are going through. That is why sometimes when we are having some of these conversations, we want the policymakers to think far beyond what the norms have always been. When we were talking about this student loan thing, I think I first came out and said that yes, it's true, it's good to scrap the guarantor system, because they were touting that if you scrap the guarantor system, you give people financial assistance to access tertiary institutions. That is perfect. But we all knew that when we were having that discussion, we all knew that the biggest challenge is that our universities are not expanding. So we have to embark on a deliberate infrastructure policy that would admit more students. Then we think about the financial aspect of it. But the attention was given to the student loan, those who were able to access it, and that was also. We are thinking that the policies that should be undertaken by these government policymakers and the university authorities, one should be that we should try and patronize satellite campuses. University of Cape Coast has done something great. They are now using Indian University as a satellite campus, and it's taking almost 1,000 students. That is what we should be doing. We should now try to set satellite campuses across the length and breadth of the country. That practice whereby every person would want to move from wherever they are to the center of campus. It's also creating this particular problem. So if, for example, if University of Ghana has a satellite campus in Tamale, has one in Sunyani, has one in Kumasi, another one in Techimai, another one in Kintampo, all those people who would be moving from those places to Accra would go to the satellite campus there, and it would save the struggle and the difficulty, because it's a child coming to school when the first day is going through this. Some said they have been on campus and they have to leave and come back, and all these things. These are stressful things that the students will be going through. So that is the first thing. Again, we have made it point over and over again that you have to encourage tertiary students to use the technology that we have in teaching. You see, it is sad that at this time and age, we will still complain about tertiary students not able to use the online platforms to learn, and for teachers, for the lecturers to use them to teach. It is very sad. If it is about secondary and then primary school level, we understand. But tertiary level, it is time that universities make good use of these platforms, so that you also roll out some of these programs online. They would not have to come back to campus. You see, we want to extend tertiary education to a larger number of people, and we have to be innovative about it. We cannot stick to the traditional, conventional way of always admitting 2,000, 3,000 students on campus and leaving a chunk of the 17,000 out there, asking them to find their way wherever they want to go in terms of their tertiary education. So these are two big policy measures that our universities and the policymakers should be thinking about. Setting up satellite campuses all over the place. I know it's involving, but we can do it. You can use the money that you have in terms of internal generated funds, and the government will come in and support. Get Fund should make some of these things a big project, so that most of the universities will have satellite campuses. I've given an example. They can also even go into contracts with other private universities and let some of the students access the education from them, because most of these private universities, they are just there, they don't have the number of students. And I've given an example. University of Cape Coast is now in a contract with Indom University, and they are taking almost 1,000 of their students. And then also we should use the technology, online education. People stay in Ghana and they school abroad. They go to campus once in a while to do one or two things, and they come back home. That is something that we have to learn to use to also spread tertiary education to our number of students who wants to access tertiary education.
Now, Mr. Anti, just to follow up to what you've been talking about, I'm looking at the cost quotient of all of what you're talking about. Yes, the universities, extending their tentacles when it comes to, access to facilities and all of that. But don't you forget, it comes with cost. I remember, maybe infamously, Professor Ernest Aite, former Vice-Chancellor of the University of Ghana, talking about the fact that education at that level is not for poor people, so to speak. But should that be the case? Now, you're talking about accommodation where people are going to struggle to get these facilities. If these extensions are made, they are going to come with, further cost already. Students, their parents are reeling from the cost. So don't you think it's only going to make matters even more inhibitive for people trying to access, tertiary education in this country?
No, it's going to make it very easy. In terms of course, the student traveling from Kintampo to Accra, coming to rent a hostel or whatever it is, it's more costly to the student than the student staying in Kintampo and accessing tertiary education in the University of Ghana satellite campus in Kintampo. Because in that case, he's in his area, he's in his house. He moves in and he gets back. A feeding doesn't come in, of course, because he's in the house. Definitely, he's going to eat. Accommodation cost doesn't come in. The only thing that will come in is transportation. But the university would have saved that child, that student, the stress and all the financial burden of looking for accommodation and then accessing tertiary education.
Yes, but Mr. Anti, you were not just talking about the satellite, institutions. You were also talking about a further, proliferation of accommodation facilities. That would also come with, because if you remember, on the University of Ghana campus, the likes of the Liman hostels, the Elizabeth Says and the rest, when they came, you could tell what the cost structure was. And it was not affordable for everybody. If you could afford it, you could go there. That is what I'm talking about. It's not about the satellite facilities per se.
Yes, yeah. So you are talking about expanding accommodation on campus. I think that one should come from two angles. The government should assist. I know Get Fund does some of these projects, but the government, it should be a deliberate policy. That is the point I'm trying to make. So if there's a deliberate policy that you are scrapping the guarantor system for the loan, student loan, then you should also have a deliberate policy that in these 3-4 years, we are expanding accommodation in our campuses. So every university, public university, we are building a state-of-the-art accommodation or hall for them. That is a deliberate policy. When it's from the government, I think that the cost component of assessing that particular accommodation will be less. If we allow private people to come in and build, definitely it will be very expensive for the students, because the private person, when he comes in, is coming with a profit motive. But if it is the government doing this, then you know that there's some kind of subsidy that will come in for the student, and the student will be able to access. So if it is about expanding accommodation on campus, then the suggestion is that it should be a deliberate government policy. The Ministry of Education should take that up and build halls at least once every 2 years, so that by the time maybe in the next 10 years, our university campuses would have a lot of rooms to accommodate some of these people. You see, when you talk to those who access tertiary education in the 80s, they tell you that some of them, they were one in a room. they were enjoying. So it means that we have not done something right. We have not been able to expand our universities in terms of the accommodation structure and even the lecture rooms. So now it means we've not been able to do that. So that should be a deliberate policy from the government. But for us, we think that it is more, it is even more great to embark on these kind of satellite campuses and also focus more on online education, and the university should put the structures in place so that while some of us sit in Ghana and we access tertiary education elsewhere, we travel once in a while to go and then maybe defend our thesis, or we go and then we have an encounter to have an idea about campus life. That should also be possible in Ghana, and that is what we are trying to suggest.
All right. Mr. Hyde, now I'd like to take your thoughts on the length of the semester. We're looking at 6 weeks, of course. We're running a double track system. And looking at, the period, you have level 100s going, level 400s and all of that, especially for freshmen and women. Again, I'll go back to teaching and learning outcomes. How do you think this is going to impact those students who are going to be in this session?
Well, I mean, it's going to be challenging. But let's also say that, I mean, this, as of now, is very much prevalent at University of Ghana campuses. We've not seen much of that on the other campuses across the country. I mean, Tech is not running a double track system. The University of Ghana and its satellite campuses like Accra City campus and the Kologu areas who are having this kind of challenge. At this stage, I believe that, I mean, we are at a point where we probably have no choice. I mean, we've got to stick to this particular direction. The last time the students met, management had an extra few weeks to the teaching period. I believe that it will not solve the problem entirely, but at least mitigate the plight for the student. Then again, we also must understand that some students, due to the courses that they are studying, especially those in the sciences, have also raised concerns that given the volume of materials that they need to consume, the time is not good for them. But I think the university has also given assurances that they are going to put in place the necessary measures to help them get the best that they can at the time. But generally, I think that we will have some way somehow shot ourselves in the foot. We saw this coming. I mean, we could have prepared better for it. But here we are. We also need to take into consideration the fact that due to the free SHS, a large number of our students will have to get to campus. We also need to take into consideration the fact that during the free SHS, COVID-19 has also come. And as I speak to you, even the halls are admitting 60% level 100 and the rest being left for the rest of the students in the other streams. And so there are realistic challenges, but we are at a point where we've got to make do what we have. And so the students, I mean, I'm afraid we have to adapt to the situation, but generally the time is not so good. But given sometimes the intervention that has been made so far, we are hoping that we can make do what we have now.
Well, I'm hoping you're not just hoping and not pushing. You did say that you've been given certain assurances, but I want to find out from you, as national student leadership, how are you coordinating to ensure that some of the promises that have been made to you will actually be carried out so that the students don't get the short end of the stick?
Well, like I said, I mean, the last meeting with the university management, an assurance was given that few extra weeks were going to be added. And as I speak to you, that communication has been done. We are hoping to meet the leadership of University of Ghana and the management of the institution, hopefully tomorrow. At this point, we are looking at the fine details, some of the basic issues which are arising from registration, hostel accommodation. But for the academic calendar, I think we are at a point where we both sides have agreed that this is what can be done. And you can be rest assured that we are very much in touch with our leadership on the various campuses. And at any point in time that we need to do something, we are very much on standby to do so.
So as we get ready to wrap up, I want to pick the thoughts of both of you on what other concerns we should be looking at from the student front, from the teaching front, from even the front of dealing with COVID-19, this pandemic. Moving forward, what are some of the other gray areas that you think we ought to be looking at moving forward? And I'll wrap with you on that point, Mr. Hyde, before I come to Mr. Anti.
Well, generally, I still have issues with student loan. As I speak to you, the student loan secretariat is still yet to pay some students. I mean, their their loans for last academic year. And it's a problem. I mean, it appears that for me, they seem to be taking some of the resolve of the students for granted. In the coming days, we're not going to take it easy on them. We've had several meetings and the assurances have been coming. And as I speak to you, you also get a policy that is telling students that guarantee-free, everybody go in there, you are going to be supported. And if at this stage you've not been able to fully clear the areas of last semester or last academic year, and then you are given assurances for the incoming ones, then, I mean, I don't know how you're going to go about it. But like I said, I mean, in the coming days, we are not...
Well, it appears we've had a bit of an encounter. Can I hear Mr. Hyde now? Mr. Hyde, are you...
Yes, I'm
okay, please continue then.
Yes, and I'm saying that, I mean, I would like to use your medium to appeal to the student secretariat that, I mean, the students need the money for their hostels, they need it for their fees. And as much as possible, they should do whatever it takes to make sure that students get the money.
Thank you very much. Your wrap-up comment, Mr. Anti, on that same beat.
Yes, I think I'll add my voice to the student loan thing. I feel that they are doing a very bad job, and I will not miss words with that, because students are supposed to get the money to enable them pay for certain things before the academic year begins. We have said this over and over, that the mode of disbursement of the student loan trust, it's a mess. And it's sad that as at now, they've still not been able to put their house in order. I'm surprised that the president is saying that even as at last academic year, some people still have not received their monies. Mr. President, I'll beg you that you should try and then do everything possible to ensure that your students get the money, because it's sad. We are always looking at certain things that are not important. They come out and they will give press statements and other things to indicate that they are doing the best for the students. But on the ground, the situation is not like that. And I would add my voice to it. They should disburse the money to the students within this week, so that those who need money to pay for their fees, they will be able to pay. You go to social media, you see people soliciting funds for people because of the financial burden on them. And we have the student loan trust, we have the scholarship secretariat, we have other scholarship avenues in the country, and nobody knows who is accessing these funds, but they say they pay to people. It's sad, and it's time that we all add our voice to some of these things, so that those who need the money to finance their education are those who really get it. They should come out with their criteria so that people can easily apply. That is these are some of the things that we have to be talking about, and I'm glad that the president has mentioned it. I'll be following this keenly, and I hope that by the end of next week, the students should get their monies.
Messrs. Hyde and Anti, thank you very much for joining the conversation. Of course, Mr. Isaac Hyde, with Nooks, and of course, Mr. Anti with iFest Ghana. But let's connect now to where Richard Kwejo-Nyarko finds himself. That is on the University of Cape Coast campus, and he's going to be telling us what exactly the developments are from there. Richard Kwejo-Nyarko, if you can hear me, do take it away.
Well, Akapu, I'm at the University of Cape Coast, precisely in front of Valco Hall, and as you can see, a lot of these freshmen and women are walking to the congregation ground for the orientation process to begin. They came over the weekend. On Friday, they were here in their numbers. They struggled with accommodation and other things, but now it seems that a lot of things have been put in place at the frontage of Valco Hall, actually. There is a bucket. All the protocols are being observed. As I speak, the students are on their way to the congregation, so you can see them in a queue going to the congregation grounds at the University of Cape Coast. We are told by authorities that they have placed 2 students in a room as a result of the protocol. So the first years, they are entitled to rooms at the University of Cape Coast right now. And so everything is in place at the academic facilities, precisely the lecture theaters. The students are expected to observe the protocols. They need to wash their hands, no mask, no entry into these academic user facility. And so we have been assured adequately by the University of Cape Coast Authority. So as you can see, the students from the Kwame Nkrumah Hall are walking past the Valco Hall, and then they will pass through Kesley Hayford Hall, and then to the congregation grounds where the orientation process will begin.
Right, Richard. So beyond that, what can you report? Have you perchance had any interactions with any of these students? What are their concerns so far? I mean, we interacted with some of those from the University of Ghana earlier. Accommodation is a big problem, and some of them, especially freshers who are new to the system, are facing some peculiar challenges. What have you gathered in the hours before now and even currently? What have these students and maybe parents been sharing with you?
Well, so what the students, some of them have been telling me is that, well, they had initial challenges. They had initial challenges with accommodation, but they have all been sorted out by the University of Cape Coast Authority. So currently, we've not been made known of any challenges with respect to accommodation because the continuing students are yet to return to campus. They will be returning to campus this weekend, and so it affords the freshmen and women the opportunity for them to settle them first. Remember, the first years here are supposed to be accommodated by the university. It's compulsory, and then they will look at the spaces that are left for the continuing student. But most of the continuing students, they are housed in hostels and other facilities outside the university campus. So it is a policy that all the students here that are admitted first year, we've been told adequately by the University of Cape Coast authorities that they made adequate provision for them in terms of the accommodation. So we've not been made, they've not been complaints whatsoever from the student that indeed they had challenges when they came.
Well, Richard Kwejunyako reporting there from the University of Cape Coast and giving us details of what exactly is happening there. This is one of our focal areas that we're looking at this morning as schools reopen, as they open their gates once more to students. And we're going to be bringing you much more from different parts of the country, different institutions. So as students, as parents, as Ghanaians, we have a global view of what exactly is happening, and we know what exactly we ought to be doing. Don't you forget as well that in our subsequent conversations, we're going to be talking about COVID-19 itself, the spread of it, and what the scientists are saying. And of course, we have our One Ghana discourse as well, which we are also bringing your way this morning. So do stay with us. We'll be back shortly. And when we do, we'll continue with some of those other subject matters. Do stay.